don't you lead a little bit by a brief explanation of what's going on with the whole EVS side?
Where do I start? Is the question there?
Start with the arrest and
Okay.
the basic of what the police report says.
Actually, I'm going to start 2 days before the arrest.
Okay.
2 days, because the arrest has to do with the last stream that Nick stupidly made. I'm not going to go through. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm going to mention basically the last part of it. I have not even watched all of the clips of it, but I've watched enough. But the biggest thing is what I suddenly had probably 15 to 20 people sending me the day after, because a lot of people knew that I followed Rekieta. So suddenly I had people just sending me this clip of the end of Rekieta's stream on that last Monday. This was the fate that I'm going to be calling this the drunk stream. If I call stream the drunk stream, I'm referring to the stream that he made Monday, May 20th.
Okay, because you saying the drunk stream with him is kind of like saying
no, I know that
with him almost. That's why I know, good that you're putting definition on that, because
that is why I'm saying
is kind of
It's the drunk stream. It's the one I'm referring to when I say the drunk stream.
Continue.
Because it's the one that he got so blackout drunk that, but it's also important because okay. In the middle of it, apparently he had a 45-minute quote unquote bathroom break, during which the chat was roasting him. And then when he came back, and before he went to the bathroom break, he was really tired because he was drunk. Duh. But when he came back, he apparently had white powder on his nose, and he started ranting manically. It was a manic drunk.
Yeah.
But he wasn't manic before that. That's what the important thing there is. This is why I call it the drunk stream. So
he's not usually manic when drunk. He's just drunk. I mean,
yeah, but he's been doing this shit a lot. There's a reason I stopped watching him in the last 6 months. He's been spiraling the drain, but this was the most obvious from what I've seen. And he started ranting about Mark Randazza, his lawyer, who was handling his case. He was insulting said lawyer. In fact, he was going back on things that he had actually said. He had said in the past that he wanted to make this case is a really big landmark case to protect everybody else. Now, suddenly here, he's saying that what he wanted was to just make the case go away, but Mark Randazza wanted to make an issue with this case. And it was like, what the hell are you talking about, Nick? This is something that you very proudly said that you wanted to have happen, and now you're blaming your lawyer? And there were various other rants in this latter half of the stream. And that's the one that I'm just going to quickly mention, because that's the one that I can just from my own watching and say it went completely against what he had said in the past.
That makes sense, by the way. Do sheepy out there?
Oh yeah. during the VTuber drama, I completely understand. Like I said, I stopped following him about a half year ago, so I only vaguely watched the spiral downward. I only really saw the spiral in bits and pieces as people would send me clips. But so now let's just fast forward to the end of the stream. At the end of the stream, he just was looking up at what people call the ceiling cats, and he's like, oh. And some people say that he was getting a blowjob. I don't know. Some people are saying that he was jerking off. I don't know. But then suddenly he goes,
I don't want to know.
What? But no, I don't want to know either. I'm just saying the speculation. But then what I will say is that he suddenly goes, why is my camera still on? and then suddenly the stream ends. So do you see why I call this the drunk stream?
Yeah. So that's basically, we all know that this happened. In the arrest, there's reports of child neglect.
Yes. Which we didn't know what the hell was going on with that when they were arrested on Wednesday. Which, like I said, this stream happened on Monday. They were arrested on Wednesday. Now, at the point that they got arrested, they got arrested under charges saying that they had 25 grams or more of cocaine in in okay, to be clear, they were arrested under charges saying that they had 25 grams or more of cocaine or methamphetamines, but we know at this point that it was cocaine. There's a difference between what they were charged and what we know now.
That's
then
usually the case because it takes a while for the charges to fully catch up and to be ironed out by the police, all that la 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 crap.
Yeah.
That's standard.
It 100% standard. And right now this is almost like going in when we're talking about the charges, this is almost talking about the end of the story and then going backwards, because a lot of the story gets filled in after the stuff that we found out after the charges. But the charges were kind of the end of the story. Yeah, definitely. But that's why I can say when we're talking about the charges, I can at this point go, but it really means this.
Now,
yeah.
Both of us have worked with disabled, with hardship cases, with mandatory reporting and stuff. Mine's always been done anonymously through volunteer services, and I don't list my name to it, nor does the government, because I don't want my information out there. If somebody starts coming at me for the other things I do, I don't want them harassing the people I help and stuff. But I am listed as emergency contact and emergency guardian for several adoption cases and foster kids and stuff. And I do help take care of these kids sometimes. So I have experience with dealing with this.
And from my side, I work for a living helping people with special needs, and I am I am a mandatory reporter, and as such, I can say that I have submitted 2 mandatory reporting cases myself, as well as, I'm not going to go into details, but I have been on the other end of the stick as well, where something bad happened, and I was frankly I was as administered, not administered, but I was as investigated. So I actually know what happens on the other side of the stick as well. By the way, before anyone decides to go and get into drama, 100% cleared. It took them a month to clear me, but the reason for that is actually important. They actually apologized to me that it took them so long, because they told me that they took a quick look at my case and they knew that I was fine. So they decided to put their resources where or they could protect the most children, which was the people that they saw in active danger. This is going to come up later.
There is also, by the way, an issue in the system with there's no consequences to people who knowingly submit false reports and claims all the time. Hardly anything. It's really hard to get anything done to them. We actually moved when I was a child because the racist neighbors that were harassing my parents decided to start almost daily filing false police charges and trying to get the police to swap the family, trying to harass the kids, everything. And that's just because they didn't like the mixed race couple. And they were literally filing false charges with police and CPS and stuff about us through the anonymous tipster stuff daily.
Well, yes.
So the system is extremely easy to abuse, and just because somebody's been investigated does not mean there's any evidence even or any reason to suspect that they've done anything wrong.
Yeah. I want to be clear though, and this was not one of those cases. It was something that something bad happened to somebody within my care. So the evidence was there that something happened, and it's something that I frankly had to go to therapy for. but
Yeah, I just want to make it
but
clear to people that there's a lot of different things that
yeah,
can happen, and it doesn't mean that anything.
exactly. And
Mhm.
but I just wanted to point out that it was a legitimate thing that they had to investigate. But they
Mhm.
had to investigate, but they actually put it on the back burner because they actually were able to tell that it was almost certainly false. And like I said, this actually has something very significant to do with this case because it has to do with something that really pisses me off. But what some people have been saying about this case, because this is my experience with this is the reason why I know that these and that at least one particular lawyer is full of complete bullshit when he talks about this. Sorry.
Yeah,
But
some is automatic. A lot of it's too easy to abuse the system and harass people through false claims. It's too easy to file false restraining orders against people and stuff like that. There is a form of abuse that's specifically done through false reports and false claims that's actually really common,
yep,
both from family members and from significant others, especially women, when things go south when they're abusive.
yeah,
So this is a commonplace issue. That's what I was getting at with that. So
yeah.
I take it very as nonsense if somebody says they've been investigated, unless there's something that came of it.
Yep. And and actually, it's something that I saw Tug saying that I actually kind of liked was that he was pointing out that the mandatory reporting system actually encourages it encourages hearsay. It encourages us to say if we think that there's something happening, even if we don't have full proof of it, which is why we do need to take anything that a mandatory reporter says as as hearsay. It's why
Until it's investigated.
right. It needs to be investigated. We can't say that because the mandatory reporter said it, that means that is true. That
I
that is
have
actually that is actually part of what mandatory reporter
three
is.
times.
Sorry.
I have 3 times had to report people.
Okay. Yeah.
And they were
Uh,
very egregious things. And one of them was when I was in college, and this was a coworker who I knew was leaving her toddler home alone so she could go do drugs. I had
Yep.
caught her doing it.
Yeah.
And that was before I was a mandatory one. I still reported it. And there's twice under the mandatory I have.
Yep.
It's really it's it shouldn't be taken as instantly factual because there's too easy of a system to abuse. But people need to also not be charged with crimes or false reports if it's not proven, but there's no evidence they were faking it. And so it's a
Exactly.
delicate line. And this is the same thing with essay stuff and things like that. You don't want victims afraid to come forward. You don't want people punished if they don't get a conviction against their attacker, but you want punishments for people who are busted intentionally lying.
Yeah. Actually, I've got a question for you on this. And since my mandatory reporter stuff comes through my official job, I've actually I actually have bi-yearly training in for mandatory reporting, which of course it's not going to make me clairvoyant in being able to see to see all the problems and be able to tell. But I do have more training than the average person does in what signs there may
Mhm.
be that there is. Have you had train? Do they
I
give
did
someone like you
some
training like
training.
that?
I did some training and stuff when I started work doing some of the childcare, but because it's not officially a carer for a disabled, it's working with childcare systems and helping with foster kids as an extra support system for the parents and stuff like that. It's not as mandatory. It's a volunteer system. So it's more or less I go in every so often and do a refresher course on my own time.
Okay,
And it doesn't have to be mandatory every year or two kind of thing. It's last one I did was like 9 years ago, and technically I'm supposed to be doing about a year or so to do it if I don't.
Okay.
it's not as restricted for volunteer work.
That was kind of what I was thinking. The reason why I was asking was because
I don't
n-
know.
I is was because due to the training, I could see the word of the mandatory reporter like myself being taken a
Mhm.
little bit more than just the anonymous tip. Because if a person has training in seeing, they might take that a little bit more seriously than a random person off the street.
Yeah, and the training, it definitely varies depending on what kind of reporter you are and what you do and how you work in the system.
Yeah, but
So this is where it came from. And so we both care very much about neglect cases with children and don't victim blame. Even if
hmm
there's something where the victim made mistakes or the victim could have done things differently or stuff, you don't victim blame,
no,
especially when they're
especially
under the age of 18.
when they're under the age of 18 or effectively under the age of 18. I have to say the effectively thing because the people that I work with aren't under the age of 18, but they
But they don't have full mental capacities.
but they are still protected in the same way.
And actually, technically, under the legal definitions of qualifying as adult, I actually don't all the time with some of my mental issues. If they're flaring, I actually don't.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go there.
So no, I will. I will flat out because it's reality for me, and there's restrictions on things where if certain things are flaring, I have a responsibility not to be doing certain things where I'm trying to basically live as the adult responsibilities. So if my issues get bad, I'm not supposed to go drive anymore. I'm not supposed to go do my photography anymore. I'm supposed to stay with another adult.
Yeah.
So complication.
Yep. And this is part of the reason why Rosetta is relying on me to have more of the facts, kind of.
I've
And if
very, very ditzy mind, and I have trouble with my short-term memory. And once I've slept on something, I don't remember most of it for the next few weeks. And so the
yeah,
fact that I was studying all this stuff on this case yesterday, and then I crashed for several hours because I was feeling sick.
yep.
It's all foggy and kind of a kaleidoscope in here right now.
And for myself, at any point, if we need me to, I've actually got up on my other screen. I've got all of the documents, including the Kiwi Farm stuff that I pulled up that I found yesterday. So, yeah.
Which I take with a grain of
Oh,
salt because those people love to make shit up to try to
oh,
destroy people.
oh no, the only stuff that I took from Kiwi Farms were actually the documents.
Which is fair.
I
I'm just
I
saying I'm
I
very
don't give
leery of
it.
any links
I,
from them.
I don't give a goddamn shit about anything that they were saying. I was just using it to find the documents that I was having trouble finding elsewhere.
Fair.
And it was a pain in the ass to find it even there. That site is not user friendly.
No.
So, I was just going through the charges.
So explain the child part because that's the part we need to get to in order to get into the reason I want to smack EBS upside his fat mouth. In
I will get to the
Minecraft, YouTube.
I'll get to the child part in a moment, but I'm going but I'm going to say the second one first, just to make sure we do get to the second one. The second charge is simply saying that they that they have guns or ammunition out while they have the controlled substances. I'm not going to say more about that, but that one is the second charge. The third charge, which in the charging document they don't go into too much, but they state that there is neglect of the children. And instead of just saying what the charging document says, I'm just going to go into what actually substantiated that. And apparently, at the preschool teacher or at the school at the school where the children at least occasionally go to reported to their minister that the children and had stated that they were often hungry and that they had not had changed of clothes in 3 or 4 days and that they smelled. And I
And this
I
was reported
have
by the preschool teacher. So this was the little kids that were having this issue.
Kind of. None of the kids actually would have had this preschool teacher as a teacher, but to me that doesn't matter. That just means that one of the children saw that preschool teacher as someone that that they could confide in.
Yeah.
That's how I see that. It doesn't matter whether it was their specific teacher or not. It
Well, I
matters
was
that
just saying that you're more likely to have interaction with that teacher if you're in the closer grades and they're in that same
yeah,
portion and
yeah,
stuff like that. So it's
yeah,
more
within the closer
likely it was
grade,
the youngest kids.
which is what I would imagine, especially since in the police incident report, from what I could gather, the youngest child asked the police to let them change their clothes because they hadn't changed their clothes in a day or two.
I'm not sure what state, Bone.
What's it? Oh, I know. I know. I completely know. Actually, it's Minnesota. To be fair, it is Spicer, Minnesota. The documents that I was going through actually were not redacted for a lot of them.
That explains so much, actually. Sorry, I have
Yeah.
all kinds of issues with Minnesota. So.
Oh, me too. I mean, I didn't actually have many issues with it until I started looking into this. It actually because I wanted to see the difference between mandatory reporters from Iowa to Minnesota, and my God, it looks like like the regulations for mandatory reporters in Minnesota are very slapdash. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've never been told that I could go directly to the police to talk to them. I need to call DHS. I call somebody who actually knows how to do intake for this sort of thing. But apparently in Minnesota, they're told to just go to just go to their local PD.
Whereas I have a lot of issues with Minnesota. The history with Minnesota towards Sioux and Lakota people is really bad, but it's also the city I was assaulted in at the concert for daring to cover my eyes from the strobes happened to be in Minneapolis.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was at Within Temptation concert in Minneapolis in 2019.
Huh. Interesting. So, yeah. Now, I decided to look into the difference between the mandatory report in Iowa from Minnesota because when I was first talking about it, I was going, you know what? I'm saying I'm a mandatory reporter, but I'm in Iowa. Maybe it's different in Minnesota, and it kind of looks like it is different.
Okay.
And like I say, the reporting procedure is they can just go directly to the police department. And the reason why this is important here is that where Nick Rekieta lives is a really small area. There's only like 42,000 people in that county, I believe, which means that police department is going to be a small police department. And so, if a mandatory reporter were to call into that police department, they're not going to be calling into somebody who necessarily understands how to do intake for a possible child abuse issue, for a mandatory reporting issue. Whereas in Iowa, even if you're in a small city, since you're directed to call the actual agency, it doesn't matter what city you're in, you are going to get someone who knows how to handle the intake. The reason why I mentioned this is that I looked at the freaking mandatory reporting form that was sent that they had, and I originally looked at it and went, I don't believe that that's a real mandatory reporting form, because they just had a police officer saying that somebody came in and saying that they had a possible mandatory reporting issue to share, and I was just like, what's this bullshit? But apparently that's how Minnesota handles mandatory reports. Sorry, I'm a little bit conflicted here because whereas I do think that the mandatory reporting is important, I see problems with how the mandatory reporting happened, if that makes any sense. Because for one thing, this preschool teacher who is the one that that found out about the problems with the children
Mm-hmm.
reported it to the pastor. They did not report it themselves, and I will guarantee you that preschool teacher was a mandatory reporter themselves. Why did they not make a report? I find them legally culpable, frankly, for not making a report themselves.
Yeah, there's issues with this, the things that I don't like that just to me really strike the wrong chord, and to me that gives warning bells myself. But so there's reports that the kids obviously were not
Yeah.
nourished properly, that they were not clean.
Yes. So ignoring that part of the issue, which I'm fine with, I just felt the need to point it out that
And I
I do have
absolutely get
issues
that.
with it.
That's why I'm kind of giving you time to really delve a bit deeper, even though this is taking a little longer for people who are watching, who, holy crap, it actually says I have 51 viewers between these channels right now.
Trust me, I got 8 viewers myself, which is a lot more than I expected. So people seem to be interested even when I was getting all boring and factual.
So
But
obviously
yes.
there's neglect of the kids, there's shit like that. Enter
Hmm.
Ethan, who
Yes.
in a stream makes a comment that this will be good for his kids because they're going to learn to man up, basically. Oh my god. Oh my god. No, no, no. Fuck you, fuck you. Fuck, 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 fuck. Mm. I'm gonna
Yeah.
need CBD for this.
Yeah.
Because to sit there and say that, oh, the kids are going to benefit from having drugged out parents because they're going to grow up, which is what he said on the stream. I listened to the clips. I listened to the
Yeah.
longer part of the stream before and after it. It was not taken out of context. He absolutely fucking said what they made it sound like he said.
I listened to to 1.5 hours of of that trash cast. I heard plenty before, plenty after myself.
And no, he absolutely was basically victim blaming the entire time. And it was the kids' faults for being too big of pussies and not knowing how to take care of themselves. And this was going to make them man up. That's the shit he's been saying both on that trash cast and in fucking Twitter for 2 days now.
I am going to devil's advocate for a moment. You know that I'm not happy with EVS, but devil's advocate, EVS was saying that he was put in that position and he feels that he's better off for it. And
yeah, but if he just said, I went through similar experience, I'm better off from it, they can overcome it and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Okay, that's fine. I would be completely on board with that. But for sit there and all these tweets after tweets after tweets after tweets blaming
completely.
the kids.
But I just wanted to put the context that there was that little bit of context that I thought needed to be given. I don't think it excuses what he said, but I just thought that it needed to be out there.
Ethan has been blaming the kids for 2 days for what happened to him with the parents, and basically saying that the teenager should have just raised the kids themselves so mommy and daddy could party.
Ethan has been in full-on Nick Rekieta defense mode for pretty much this entire time. The way that a lot of people call these people is nose guarding. Because well, actually, it's not because of the cocaine. It's because
I was making a brown nose motion.
Oh yes, but the reason is because Nick is also called Nicky the Nose because his nose is so big that people call him Jewish. So people who are saying that they're nose guarding Nick. So EVS has been a nose guarder. Snow nose guarding, yes, hitting the slopes. And actually, 2 weeks before all this shit went down, I actually just hit a clip yesterday where EVS was telling Nick that he wanted to try cocaine, and Nick's response was, "Let's make that happen."
Well, I've found enough things doing things like being drunk off his ass at a baseball game with his son, and then openly telling people he drove home after.
Yep.
And that's on stream. So, birds of a feather bitch together? I mean, or birds of a feather leave white trails on their nose together? I mean,
yeah. Okay. To be clear, the way that I think that was that Ethan said that he'd be interested in trying coke, and Nick's immediate response was to ask him if he'd ever tried Adderall or Ritalin. That was his immediate question, which made me go, dude. And just to be clear, everybody, I take Ritalin, but I legitimately have ADD, so it's prescribed.
I legitimately do too, but I avoid those meds because I don't like what they do.
I know, but it actually helps me, and it motherfucking calms me down. It doesn't amp me up. It doesn't put me into any sort of this manic overdrive that I've seen Nick go into.
That's why I drink 5 tons of caffeine all the time.
I mean, you see me in real life. If I'm not manic, and I'm on my meds when you've seen me.
You're not manic.
I'm somewhat hyper, but that's just how I normally am.
I'm the poster child for hyperactivity. It's not my fault. The world's not keeping up with me.
But my point is that he's talking about, have you tried Ritalin or Adderall, when someone says that they want to try Coke? And I'm just going, dude.
That one was not Nick that did that. The video is of EVS at a baseball game with his son, wasted off his ass, slurring and staggering. And then he posted shit about driving home that night about an hour later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this stuff, I actually spent a while deep delving into that when people sent it to me, when I started going off on EVS yesterday, and I confirmed every piece of it.
And I didn't know any of that stuff. I just know lots of the lore on Nick. And frankly, the worst of the stuff with Nick really is mostly within the last 6 months. Before the last 6 months, I honestly don't think that he'd spiraled. As he really spiraled in the last 6 months or so.
See, the thing is that I don't think he started out this way, but he's ended up a complete addict.
He needs to be fucking in rehab.
He also needs jail time for what he did, because he's doing drugs and wife swapping shit with his kids in the house with him. I don't fucking care who wants to make excuses for him. The kids were in the fucking house when he was doing this shit. I'm
not making an excuse for him. I just want him to get rehab. If jail time happens, jail time happens. I just want him to get better. But the dude has a problem. The dude has a problem. Anyone who claims that he doesn't needs to jump off a bridge.
Yeah, and Dave, I don't like either of them. I can't stand the fact that Eric's now working with the sisters who posted a picture of somebody's children, saying that they were watching them from the great van, and dox these children with that implication.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for those girls. They should fucking rot in prison, and anybody supporting them should fucking go bankrupt. So my personal opinion on the EVS Eric thing is they can both fuck each other anally.
My response on that is, I do believe in redemption for everybody.
I don't believe in redemption when it comes to doxing somebody's children and implying people should sexually assault them.
I understand that. I just want to put my point out. Just want to put my case out there too.
I know you do, and I know technically it's supposed to be the Christian thing and stuff, but I'm sorry, when it comes to
it's not a Christian thing for
children,
me. It's just
I'm saying for me it should be. For me it should be. But when it comes to harming children, I have an absolute DT tolerance on it. And
I completely understand that, and I don't judge you for it. But since I'm on stream with you, I feel the need to say something. So I
absolutely agree with you. That this is a personal thing, and I know, but based on my own faith, even I should be trying to want better for them. I should believe in redemption, but when it comes to that, I believe it's between them and God. I'm not going to forgive them. Yeah, no, and I honestly understand. You do, because you know more about my past than a lot of people do.
Yes.
So,
For anyone who thinks otherwise, she's got very good reasons for feeling this way.
like I said, I don't say that maliciously. I was the girl who
No,
was
no, no,
floating on
no.
air when Ethan followed me. I had communications with him multiple times. I've been on his streams several times a while back. He was in my friends connections on my personal family and friends page over on Facebook and stuff. And I've had conversations with him on that. I blocked him on every website after the comments he made about children.
Yeah. And also, I would like everyone to notice that Rosetta did not get upset with me for disagreeing.
No, Dave, no. By the way they did the whole thing and the way they posted it, they implied that, and they posted a picture of somebody else's children where you could actually see details of the children's bodies. No, absolutely not. I don't buy that. I don't care if it was
that was not okay.
I don't care if it was the name of their vehicle. I don't care if they were tongue in cheek. When you post pictures publicly of somebody else's kids without consent, that is a form of doxing.
Yeah. No, I don't really disagree on that.
And I know they didn't fully give people the address and name and stuff, but that's not what it takes for these predators. I've seen too much of how predators work. All it takes is a photo.
There are levels of doxing. There is a reason why all anyone gets to see of me is this sort of photo that I have here. No one's going to be able to find you with this. But really simple photos can actually be enough of a dox if someone really cares enough. I mean, frankly, if someone really, really cared, someone might be able to get me from this. But
yeah,
I've
seen too much of this stuff. Again, it goes to the stuff I've worked with, the stuff I'm interacting, the things I've been through in the past. I've dealt with this stuff too much because of the whole
no, Lydian, that is not a challenge.
And all that stuff. So I have a very, very strict form on people when it comes to sharing images of children and stuff. And I actually have a problem with these family vloggers and mommy vloggers too, which is a whole other stream I should do, because they are a lot of them actually encouraging people to sexualize their children and sharing stuff of them. And I absolutely have problems with this on so many levels. And yeah, I'm really protective when it comes to children. Really protective when it comes to children. So while they can say it was a joke all they want, I find it absolutely unforgivable, and I find working with them after they did it is disgusting.
Yeah, I get that. Now,
Dave, you can believe that all you want. You're not going to budge me on this. There's lines that were crossed with that. You don't make that joke with kids. And even a random stranger that was an adult, I would still find it distasteful, but not as bad. But they did it intentionally. They worded it in a way to make that kind of joke and implication. And it was children.
Now, what I would say is that it is kind of hilarious to see EVS and his group of getting all holier than thou about that fact. I'm not including you, but these people who have done shit that is kind of heinous themselves, and then suddenly, oh my god, getting so self-righteous about it.
There's no innocent one in this side.
Yeah, exactly.
I have friends on both sides who like Ethan, who like Eric. I have friends who get involved in both sides and side with it. I'm not going to sit here and tell people to agree with me and other stuff, but I have hard lines and they both crossed it. So yeah, I'm done with them.
I would just point out the hypocrisy, not whether it's okay or not. I largely get pissed off with people going, oh my lord, oh my stars, and that's like, can we take a look at what you've done?
And by the way, the same goes for the people who tried to make out somebody as having essayed animals and stuff when she was into weird furry kink stuff.
Yeah,
that's not the same. I'm sorry, I find it gross. I don't get it, but it's not the same.
It was weird, but I hadn't seen any evidence that anything actually happened, but it made me go. It gave me this quick factor,
It
but
gives me an ick factor. It gives me an ew. And the fact that
yeah,
she's made jokes and posts before about that kind of stuff gives me an ick and an ew, but it's nothing that I'm going to sit here and judge because
yeah,
she's not actually doing anything to anybody.
but but
And
but
she's not sharing pictures of anybody saying she wants to do this to him either. She's just making gross jokes or
but that
reading gross fanfics.
but then I'm going to say that then EVS says that all that she was sharing and looking at was Naruto, not Naruto. Oh, crap. But just regular things from Inuyasha, just regular fanfic from
No,
Inuyasha,
it wasn't
and
regular fanfics from
no,
Inuyasha. It
no,
was
no, I
fanfics
know.
from Inuyasha, but it wasn't regular
No,
ones.
no, no, that's my point. It's not SA, but also EVS, you're motherfucking lying because it wasn't just regular fanfic either.
This is why I've sat here for months watching all this shit happen. And I've just quietly unfriended and unfollowed people because I don't usually get into the drama. But I have seen so much really crossing the line, horrible shit from people on both sides. And one of them, I don't fucking care. I'm naming names today, anyways. Fuck Hail the Lore. I hope he fucking chokes on the bullshit he's pulled on me. And he is one of the biggest sacks of shit. He's gone after kids before repeatedly. I don't care if he's on Ethan's side or Eric's side, and he's on Eric's. But the thing is, he apologized to me before and pulled down comments where he went after Ethan's children. Because I said, as much as you don't like him, you don't go after the kids. And he said, I was wrong and pulled it down. And that was the strike one. He starts going after Shane's wife, who wasn't attacking him. She just said, that's not true about what you said about me in the industry. And he went ballistic and started calling her a whore and all this other stuff and implying she was some sort of slut who was riding her husband's coattails and all this shit. And I said it's not okay to sexually attack somebody else's wife just because you disagree with something they said. And he starts screaming and sexually attacking everybody and calling people slurs while claiming he's this Christian. And then when I said, you're not acting like a Christian, you're acting like a Pharisee, he threw a tantrum. He kept making vulgar, attacking comments to me until I blocked him. And then he went over and started making comments about me and my body and everything else. When he was one of the ones that was supposedly a friend trying to help me through the metabolic issues and the anorexia and stuff. So he instantly starts making posts making fun of my weight. So he's a piece of shit. And he's not a Christian, no matter how much he claims he is.
A lot of it, frankly, the majority of people who like to claim that, who like to proudly state they are Christians, my experience is that they are the least Christian of them all. I mean, that's not always true, but
Yeah.
it kind of seems to me to be that the more often that happens, and the more often that I see that, the more that I want to go, but are you?
You mean like the woman who openly just decided to tell me and my mom on a post one day that, and this wasn't somebody that was a stranger, this was somebody who'd been claiming to be a friend to me and my mom for a long time, and then just suddenly decided on a post to tell me that, yeah, but you're lying about your faith because you claim that you're Indian and Christian and you can't be both.
Yeah.
Wait, what? And she kept doubling down on it and saying that you couldn't be both because other races, basically implying that other races don't have the same kind of soul that white and Arab do. And it's like, are
Yeah.
you freaking kidding me? And I just sat there dumbfounded for a bit, looking at it like, what the?
Yeah.
Block? What the fuck was that? It's like,
I don't. Yeah.
so yes, what pissed me off isn't that Ethan sat there and he kept making these vulgar comments about these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And these weren't, well, the kids should really have these skills. Why haven't the parents taught them? Why haven't they learned these skills? Why can't they do the laundry and cook and clean if they're not getting care and stuff like that? why was that a thing?
Yeah.
That would be a discussion. And I've had friends who've taken that position. It's like, okay. And I agree. And I've commented on it. Why weren't the parents teaching them these skills? Why are these supposedly homeschooled kids not actually being educated? That's a serious issue.
I'm
Because
going to read.
homeschooling tends to be more strict. They tend to be more hardcore on making sure the kids learn more. And that includes life skills to go with the other.
Oh, actually, one sec. One of the things that was also stated in the possible neglect was that they didn't believe that the two youngest children were being currently homeschooled. Sorry, I forgot that detail.
Yeah, there's evidence the kids aren't actually getting the education they need. And like all these people are going like the 16-year-old should have done all this. It's like, why? The 16-year-old should be being a teenager, doing his chores.
Yeah, if it was just his laundry, if it was just his laundry, I could almost buy it. But
I don't even mind when parents have the kids help out because there's a lot of things going on. They need the extra help, or they have to work more hours to pay bills or stuff like that. That's one thing. That's completely different.
I was talking to my wife. I was talking to my wife about this. It, like I say, it's one thing with that where, like, if both parents are both out working and they're doing their damnedest to make them ends meet, and the child needs to step up. I'm not thrilled with if that happens, but shit sucks sometimes. But in this case, Rekieta had made at least $1 million. The man, if he hadn't blown through it all in drugs, who knows how much he has right now? But he was able to pay for his bail. But but uh, but in this case, we're not talking about latchkey kids whose parents are out because they're trying to make the money. We're talking about kids whose parents are just basically apparently drugged out, along with the freaking nanny.
And having orgies in the room next to the kids.
Yeah. And this is what we're saying. Well, why didn't the teenager step up?
He went a lot further than it would be good for them, Yivo. He went a lot further than it would be good for them on the comments on NetCat thread.
No, Rosetta, just to be clear, Yivo was he was watching my thread, watching this. He does understand just how much of an asshole EVS is. We've talked about this.
Yeah, he did. He also implied that somehow this is good for the kids that the parents are coked out having orgies next to them.
Yeah. Yeah, like, he's just saying what EVS said. Yivo's not agreeing with that.
I'm just clarifying exactly how he said that and what it actually meant.
Yeah, just wanted to be clear that he's not on EVS's side. Don't worry.
Yeah. I am listed as having 79 viewers right now.
Yeah. Now I actually just pulled up the tweet that I responded to. The tweet said, "How come the kids would rather wear the same clothes rather than do their own laundry? There are teenagers in the Rekieta brood. They're not stepping up. I realized there was a nanny until there wasn't one. Privileged kids, do your wash." And my response to that was, I've seen some bad defenses of Nick, but this one is kind of special. Mom and dad and the nanny are high, swinging and dropping the ball. But it's actually the kids' fault that they aren't taking care of themselves. Dude. And EVS responded with, it isn't a defense of Nick, dummy.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. But the thing is, look, if he'd said, why don't the kids have these abilities? Why can't the kids take care of themselves in this situation? Again, if the kids are that bad that they don't know how to take care of themselves, that also has a huge reflection on the parents.
Yeah.
Why have they not learned these skills? Why you supposedly have all this care and all this support system for those kids? How have they not fucking learned it?
I went to college, and do you know how many people that I went to college with who didn't know how to do their laundry? My parents made a point to teach me. But I can tell you that tons of people, when I went to college, did not know how to do their laundry. I taught I don't know how many people how to do their laundry.
Yes. When I was a little kid, I learned how to do laundry and stuff because we had to do what we could do. There were periods where we had to do laundry when we were visiting family members. We were living in third world conditions, all this shit. Fine. look, by the time I was 10, I was helping take care of my father when my mom was working. I was helping do household chores. I was cooking. I was cleaning. It was choice, though. First of all, second of all, that was the necessity because we were trying to get out of extreme poverty and get on our feet.
Yep, which is exactly what I was saying.
And yes, I think more kids should learn these skills. I also don't think most kids shouldn't have to go through what I did. Not because my parents did something wrong, but because you lose a lot of your childhood that way.
And also something that I would like to say. Let's even entertain for just a moment that that needing to rely on themselves is good for the kids. Fine. That doesn't mean that even if the end result is that they got a good lesson, doesn't mean that the lesson should have been taught in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And also, those kind of lessons typically, even if there is a good result, typically also have a bad result as well. Like,
they do damage to our psyches. They screw with us. They do medical damage. There's too much.
I think that it was Horror Amrata that was saying in that she had to deal with some of these things, and yeah, it had some of these quote unquote good things, but also left it harder for her to trust other people.
Yeah,
there are large downsides, even if there are positive aspects. There are possibly worse downsides than someone like EVS is saying, and that's me giving the best read to what he's saying.
I've lost so much faith and so much heart in both sides of this, but I'm absolutely disgusted by these comments where, yes, we can have a discussion on why weren't the kids taught this? Why is it they don't know this? Why can't the kids help each other and take care of each other while they get help and report this? They shouldn't be in that situation. That's a fair discussion, but that's not the way people have been wording it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've even had people I care about and I respect generally sit there and tell me, oh, the kids should be able to do that so mom and dad can party a bit. It's like, this isn't partying.
Yeah.
And if this is your view of partying, you need fucking help. I'm sorry.
And one of the things that's been driving me up a wall, and part of what took me so long to really say much, since I wanted to get all the facts before I really talked about it, is that it's either it seems to be either you want to put Nick in jail for the next few years, or you want to just completely say that Nick is completely innocent and everything is innocent of everything, and why the hell are you criticizing him? And I'm sitting here going, centrist over here. I don't agree with either of you motherfuckers. Can both of you just shut the fuck up?
I mean, personally, I think Nick should go to jail because I find it absolutely morally reprehensible to do that in the with your family around.
I completely understand that, but you do get my point, though, right?
Yes. They're using it for clout. Yes, okay, I'm a little bit. People could say that with this stream because I am streaming about it. I am bitching about it, but this is. I genuinely felt like I had to let this out because I'm so pissed at this shit I've been seeing and hearing.
People are being very black and white about this, and my take, which is not the same as Rosetta's, which, by the way, is completely fair because we are not the same person.
We've disagreed on a lot of this stream so far.
Yes, and we can discuss this, but what pisses me off is that I actually was having a conversation yesterday where I was being critical of this stuff, and when I mentioned that I actually just wanted Nick to go to rehab and get better, suddenly the response was, "Holy shit, really?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm not calling for his head. I'm calling for rehab." And the absolute shock that I got from that had me going, can't I have my own opinion? Do I have to align with one side or the other?
I don't actually care right now if they want to bitch about me or in chat. That's the thing. If they want to complain about this, if they want to call me out and say I'm being horrible by saying this to them, fucking dare at this point because I'm fucking fed up with it. I've been nothing but abused, mistreated, blackballed, stabbed in the back, everything else for fucking years. for the autistic issues, for the tics, and the what's now being told I have Tourette's and all this. I've been abused for it for years. I've been blackballed on multiple channels for years for daring to fucking speak my mind and deal with my medical conditions.
Rosetta knew what she was doing when she decided this.
Are the same fucking people now who are kissing ass and defending everything EBS and kind of do as if there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, fucking dare them. Come at me, bitch.
Yeah.
And all respect to Dave and Riot, I know we're not going to agree on this. There's too many things that have added up to too shady at this point.
Honestly, I've only vaguely been looking at the chat. I've mostly looked at the chat from my channel's side, so I don't really know what they've been saying. I've mostly been paying attention to you for talking.
So I'm going to throw the link to the group now so they can come in and talk to you a little with me too.
Yep.
This has gone far longer than it was originally intended for just the intro part anyways.
Well, you asked for the person who gets anal about details.
Anal retentive bastard.
Yep. I mean, at least I didn't start pulling up my documents. I mean, I've got them over on my other screen here.
I know, Orange. The thing is, people have been dirty as hell to me and what they've been doing to me for years anyway, so fuck it.
Honestly, Orange Hat, I'm kind of surprised that I haven't had people come at me, but then again, I'm nowhere near as prominent as Rosetta is. But I was expecting a lot more, or frankly, I was expecting anything, and I haven't had anything bad come at me yet from my stream from last night, and that kind of surprised me.
Robert!
Okay, I'm not used to being on the sidelines this long, so it's a little.
Hey, you're not used to being on the sidelines. I'm not used to being a guest, but the primary guest.
Well, we're all weird tonight.
Oh yeah, and I still got the game on the waiting there. So when we finally get to the point where it's time to just cool down.
At that point, I'll probably be playing up to play Jedi Survivor.
I start laughing at very sick, dark humor.
Is Lydian able to come on? Because I know Fridays he usually can't. Orange Hat, you're not in my group chat? How the hell did that ever happen?
No, he's not there. He's never been there. Not as long as I've been there, at least.
You should be in my group chat. That's where I share all the links, so it's easy.
If you don't mind, I'll send him an invite.
Yeah, send him the link for me. It's kind of hard to pull it up right now.
Right.
Not a problem. One sec.
All right, now we're on my channel. Okay. So,
okay. What? One sec. On chat, I'll send you an invite to both this, and I'll add you to the group too.
Okay.
I have a group chat where we bullshit, share memes, and I share links to the stream so people can come in and hang out with me.
What up, woman?
Dixon
there we go.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, so why bother saying that? Okay.
Oh, bite me.
I'm surprised. I posted the group stuff enough times. I thought he would have got in here. Maybe that was just an oversight. I should have told him.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Orange.
Diet. Okay.
There we go.
Put that up to here. File for later.
So,
you still being molested by kitties who missed you?
Okay, I have sent him the link.
let's leave that for my husband. I'm sure he can come up with some ideas. Stephanie here is his wife. She's my sweetie.
All right.
And then thanks to everybody. I can't believe I've actually had in the 70s for viewership on a lot of this.
And I should acknowledge a PayPal contribution, Stephen. Thank you.
And by the way, Lydian,
put the links up.
Can you please come hang out?
Okay,
Come on, Gnome.
and Orange Hat is now in the group.
I mean, the idea is eventually we'll get a card game going if we get enough people in here.
Honey,
Cards.
Mm,
am I coming through?
So
You're coming through fine.
So
Okay.
sorry, Stephanie didn't say hi yet. So hi.
Hi.
So how's my retentive kitty doing anyway?
By the way, as far as the doxing thing, no, I think we proved when you and me were doing the stream how pathetically easy it is
to actually
get
dox somebody with just a picture of them
and find out all kinds of info. It's like
yeah.
But we're gonna. I don't know. Are there other dog owners here?
I'm allergic to dogs and I have a bad history with them, so let's not.
Cats are bad. Cats are better anyway.
No, I won't go on camera.
No.
Hey everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Lydian.
No on camera.
Hey, Lydian, how you doing?
All right.
Hey, what's up, NetCat? Craziness.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Hey, now we really need to get a game of cards
I
going.
didn't tell you about the crap EBS was saying about the kids.
No, there's so much going on so fast in the last 4 days in terms of.
All this broke. Yeah.
That's all to be good for them. Yeah,
there are a lot of.
That's beyond throwing them in the deep end of the pool to make them swim. That's throwing them in while they're holding their lucky anvil. Okay, no.
There are a lot of conjecture going on. People like kind of reading, oh, he got a warrant and we didn't get the full warrant, and people are kind of like jumping to conclusions. Then the full warrant came out, and it gets progressively worse as you know more information.
Yeah, which Lydian is part of the reason why I didn't officially come out and say anything until last night, which made my stream last night interesting because as I was reading through the documents, since I'd actually skimmed all of them, I was actually filling in details as I was reading the earlier ones going, oh, by the way, when it says this is what actually happened. Because you're right, it progressively gets worse. But also, I was trying to read through as someone who is not friends of Rekieta, because I'm not. Even though I follow him, I was trying to actually go through it from as unbiased lens as I could and go, this is what it really means. And
he's OG for me. He's one of the first people that joined my stream. So I first started in 19.
And I was just about to.
OG.
All right. I remember. I was going to say, hi, chat. How's it going?
Now it's going. As for this whole EVS thing,
when the first broke. Sorry, Orange Hat, go ahead.
Honestly, and I don't got long. I can only stay till about 20 off. But when this stuff broke, it's like I don't know much about him, but if he has to do the time for the crime, he should do the time, learn some lessons, and prayers for him. But EVS and them, I stopped following them a long time ago. They just went too heavy on the ego for me. And it's like, you guys are just way too egotistical for me. I do not
EVS absolutely believes his own Hail Caesar shit and all the golden sun stuff.
And he's one of those guys that's trying to make trying to be an edgelord, trying to be, trying to find the joke in anything. Some things are not funny.
What I'd like to say to what
most of those guys have already been on my channel at some point. I don't need them to come back.
I would like to say to what Orange Hat was saying about if you do the time, if you do the crime, do the crime. That is largely what I believe about this. It's how you do the time, and the way that I motherfucking want them to do the time is I want them to do the time by doing actual rehab and getting out of it.
Rehab.
They can do rehab in jail.
No, exactly. I'm actually not. I don't have a problem with them doing rehab in jail. I'm just saying I want them to do rehab. I want the time for that. Yeah. And if it's in jail, that's fine with me. I just want rehab one way or the other. That's all. That's where I stand on it.
Yeah, maybe a few thousand hours of community service after they get out.
Oh yeah,
not in
service.
lieu of.
That'd be great.
Not in lieu
that'd be great.
But after they get out.
As for the geeks and gamers, it's that I do not be on a stream with many of their members.
That's up to Jeremy, I think.
No, they don't get along with me anymore.
I've publicly called them out.
I think I may be the only person here who doesn't actually have a problem with them.
So.
There's a couple of them I still get along with and I like. I'm still get along with and I'm fine with Drunk, and I still get along with and I'm fine with Odin. Yeah. But most of them,
Odin and Drunk, those are the only two that I really pay attention to.
Drunk is the only one that I've ever actually talked to, by the way.
With them anymore, is he?
Drunk is the only one that I've ever actually talked to, and he was a great guy.
I think Drunk kind of went solo.
No,
he's always been kind of peripheral anyway.
He's been going on Jeremy's D-Day Cobra streams a lot lately.
But he's always been his own thing anyway.
But, yeah, he's been his own thing. I'm just saying.
Talking over me. I tried to ask a question like 5 times. Every time I start asking it, you guys talk over me.
Say it.
My apologies.
What's your question?
Is Lethal still with them?
I haven't heard of him, actually. I'm going to say that since I've not heard his name come up at all in that crowd lately, I'm going to say no.
That's what
I lost touch with him, too. I mean,
I think it's more of Mara.
I still talk to him sometimes. I still talk to Mara sometimes. I get along with them, but as far as I know, they're not really in that group anymore, nor is Jesse.
Yeah.
Mara and Jesse, we do shit twice or 4 times a month.
I haven't kept up with them in a long time.
I mean, Jesse just got married to Kai. I don't know what the hell happened there. But,
yeah, that one kind of surprised me.
That was out of nowhere. Yeah, they're on a honeymoon.
In April,
Morgoth
announced that she's suddenly dating him, and then all of a sudden, I'm having her sending me wedding photos, going, "Yeah, we got married." It's like,
but I just like to respond to Morgoth saying that.
Best friends, woman.
That is not a pairing I would ever imagine.
Okay, yeah. One sec. I'd like to say, just responding to Morgoth, when he says that they hate Lethal, don't they? If he's referring to this panel, the panel was more saying that they like Lethal and was wondering what happened.
No, I think he's talking about Geeks and Gamers.
Oh, okay.
I haven't kept up with them.
I think
then I'm not sure. They is a really vague term.
Paying attention to Geeks and Gamers. I stopped paying attention to Geeks and Gamers after they went racist over the Prey movie. So,
and then they. Well, it wasn't just that. They did a stupid thing. They made a stupid comment. If they'd been polite about it and decent,
they tripled down.
You know, Alora said, "Okay, that's an offensive term. There's reasons it's an offensive term. Please don't say that just randomly about Native women." She got all kinds of harassment for it. So did I, because we dared say no. That's offensive.
It was the way that they doubled and tripled down that was insane.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I also stopped following Eric July, because he went on their fucking stream and is like, "Oh, if you guys can't handle this shit, you're just a bunch of fucking asshats anyway." It's like, well, then fuck you too, dude.
What?
I have no problem saying fuck you to any of them.
Yep.
I mean, there was a lot of them that were good people and whatnot, but they went too ego.
By the way, I pointed out something the other day, which I kind of feel is relevant in this conversation right now, because that stupid, piece of shit fake native that's been trying to claim that he's from Pine Ridge all the time.
Oh, that idiot.
Posted an image.
Lakota man.
Stop interrupting. Posted an image claiming that there's a military grave for his father, and on it says Sunny Sioux, which is Rosebud, which is a completely separate tribe from Pine Ridge, which happens to be the tribe that Alora's from.
Oh God!
And the tribe that I'm from, because I am Oglala, and that is Pine Ridge, and I have some Santee and Rosebud roots, but mostly the Oglala. So when he posted this, it's like, you literally just proved that your claims about being registered through Pine Ridge and being Oglala are false. You literally just posted the evidence that you're lying.
You just outed yourself, moron.
In other words,
I have no idea who you're even talking about. So
Lakota man.
Yeah, he outs himself almost every time he posts.
Annoying Twitter idiot. Yeah.
Racist piece of shit, fake native.
And as for Alora, I haven't really talked to her in a while too, because me and her kind of went our separate ways when open airlock policy started opening his mouth about some stupid shit.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Lydian,
I understand.
You have a ghost behind you on your green screen.
Ben. I know.
Oh.
Yeah. I mainly dealt with Laura and Mara on Twitter, and I get nice reactions when I throw comments their way.
Anyway,
Mara's good people. I
before
mean,
we-
Mara's always. Everybody knows what Mara is.
Yeah,
I
oh,
mean,
Mara's
Mara's always going to be good people.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
now, before we get into too deep to all of this, I just wanted to announce something just because it was crazy and
Oh no.
weird.
2D.
Are you
Oh,
pregnant?
well, further proof that our long national nightmare is finally over. I got address labels from St. Jude's.
Okay. Normally, when we get a set of address labels in the mail, that's the first time that we're about to get booted out.
Oh,
That's the way it always seems to be. You know, that's about the time we're about to get evicted or have to run for our lives. But now, no, we're secure. We're not going anywhere. We're on top of it. They show up. Okay, we got address labels. Whoopee. We're fine now.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that changes this time.
Mhm.
I am so out of the loop. It's not even funny. Can we play Cards Against Humanity?
Yeah.
I will not be
Yeah.
playing. I will, or because I got to go, or because I'm going to be doing Orange Hat Uncensored in like 40 minutes.
Okay.
So.
Well.
Yeah, and as I've already said myself, I'll be heading out too.
All right, well.
Well, we still got 4 of us.
Oh.
And
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
I'll
Orange Hat.
spectate. I'll
Orange Hat.
spectate and stuff.
Game link is
Sure.
in private.
Now,
Orange
now
Hat.
what?
Would you guys stop?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm getting annoyed. I know I have a panel, but you guys can let the host speak.
I didn't intend to run
Yes,
over.
ma'am.
Sorry.
You all kept doing it. And I was actually trying to tell him that me and Steve's anniversary is Sunday. It's 18 years now.
Congrats.
Oh,
Happy anniversary.
congratulations!
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Don't shake the house too much.
happy anniversary, sweetie.
Yeah, don't
That's
scare
all
the
right.
cats.
Just don't shake the house too much.
Anniversary.
Don't scare the cats. Yeah.
So
Yeah, don't shake the house too
I-
much.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say just before I leave, for anyone that would like just the overall what the fuck happened with Nick Rekieta from the legal aspect, come and look at my channel from last night. I did a reading of all the documents I could find. It was as unbiased as I could make it. It should give a lay of the land for everything that doesn't have to do with the drama. I didn't cover any of the Kino Casino shit or any of all that stuff with Aaron Imholte and what he's been saying. It was just explaining legally what's happening.
All right. I want Steph and a gnome in the game.
Any chance he's going to lose his license?
So have a good day.
Have a good day,
Hold on,
Nat.
Yep.
hold on, let me
Take care, Nat.
Get rid of that.
Thank you. Let's see if I can
Meow,
figure out
meow.
how to end the stream on my end.
Well, I'll be in the game, but you won't be hearing me on here because.
Good. Should be killing our microphone.
That's
for that.
fine.
All right, I'm coming.
Yay.
That's what she
I
said.
need Steph